Hey everybody, welcome back to the Cabral Concept. Glad you could join me here for our first Cabral House Call of the weekend, first of two, of course. Every Saturday and Sunday, we're bringing you about a dozen of our community's questions. Love being able to see what the community is dealing with, what they want to work on, and of course, how I can help in any way that I can. So all of the questions that get written in, they're all unedited. They're exactly what people write in from all over the world. They take about 8 to 10 weeks for us to get to. But of course, and that's just because of the queue that we have. But if you want to get your question answered same day, please do feel free to write into cabralsupportgroup.com. We would love to help you there. There's over 27,000 people from all around the world. Not a paid community. It's completely free. We've never marketed it, and 27,000 people have joined to ask their questions, but also to cheer others along, especially when they've gotten the results they're looking for. So feel free to join at cabralsupportgroup.com. Without further ado, let's dive right into our questions. Let's see what the first one is. Again, I'm always just as surprised as you. I opened up this document that my team so graciously puts together on a weekly basis, always doing such a great job. All right, let's look at this first question. It says it's from, let's see here. Apologies, just open it up slowly. It's from AI. I don't know if it's artificial intelligence or it might be Al or just AI. So it says, hello, Dr. Cabral. I have a question about food sensitivity. If my food tolerance test shows a high reactivity to chicken eggs, whites in the red field, can I safely eat other eggs like quail eggs, duck eggs, etc.? I particularly like quail eggs, and there are some good nutrition information about them. What do you think? My second question is about fruit after meals. I'm aware from your podcast that fruit isn't good to combine with solid meals. In my case, it causes bloating if eaten after a meal as dessert, but only if it's fresh fruit. If the fruit is eaten dried as a dessert, there is no issue whatsoever. Why is that? It doesn't make sense to me. I don't drink much fluids after meals. In my Candida metabolic and vitamins test is clear of Candida, by the way. Thank you. Okay. Happy to help with all of these questions. So first things first, we don't know that quail eggs or duck eggs are okay if chicken eggs are sensitive. My opinion is this: we err on the side of safety, of not creating more inflammation in the body. If it shows up in the red field, that typically means that it should be a 6-month elimination. I know it seems like a long time, but what I would do is, if you can't wait that long, I would at least wait 3 months and then start to add in less sensitivity-based eggs, which would be the quail eggs or the duck eggs. Typically not going to be as much of a sensitivity as chicken eggs that we eat the most commonly, and they're in so many foods. All right. So again, I have to give you my disclaimer now. I can't provide any medical advice, medical treatment plans, medical cures, medical diagnosis. But of course, I want to share with you well over 500,000 labs now that we've run, over 250,000 client appointments, and helping quite a few people. So that is that. Now, fruit after a meal. Yes. So fresh fruit, it's going to have more digestion. Why would cooked fruit not then cause bloating as much? Or dried fruit, which you take out the water, it's broken down, it's essentially cooked. It's just, essentially preserved. Well, it's funny because when I was in Ayurvedic clinics, they did basically the same thing. Bananas were always said to be okay as long as they were ripened, because they were basically cooked on the tree itself. A banana tree, I guess, I don't know if that's the right thing to say, but it's fully ripened bananas on a tree. But then what about like a cooked apple or something like that? What you're doing is you're reducing the sugar content typically of those. You're partially digesting them through the cooking-based process, and it just makes it easier to digest. Do I think it's okay then to eat fruit after a meal? I still don't. I don't think it's a good idea. I think fruit should be eaten between meals or with your breakfast, or just blended all together as a smoothie, which makes everything liquefied and easy to digest. So that's what I want to share with you, and hopefully that's helpful. All right, Jacqueline's up next. Hi, Dr. Cabral. Thank you for everything that you and your team do. I have 2 questions regarding pregnancy. I'm just finishing the 21-day functional medicine detox, the heavy metal and CBO protocols. My husband and I are going to start to try. At what point should one stop use of sauna and flying on airplanes? Any other health habits or products, other traditional maybe herbs? I'm doing a lot of the shorthand, but maybe it says TCM, herbs that should be postponed to breastfeeding. Okay. All right, to post breastfeeding, yes. So I have a whole podcast on how to have a healthy and happy pregnancy. I want you to check that out at stephencabral.com/podcast. But you're doing everything really that you should. So you want to empty your rain barrel in an ideal world before you get pregnant. Of course, most women aren't able to do that, don't even know to, but if you can, unbelievable to do. So a 21-day functional medicine detox, the gut-based protocol, heavy metal detox. I mean, you've done it. You're doing the sauna. Absolutely fantastic. What I would do, I really don't have an issue with women doing sauna and all their detox-based protocols right up to basically conception. And so I have no issues with that. Now, after that, yeah, we do stop. That is true. Anything really heavily detoxifying for the body or stressful on the body, we typically do stop at that point to, just as you said, post breastfeeding. So those are my recommendations. Just as you said, we don't use any medicinal herbs. We still use the daily nutritional support, the daily omega-3 support, the daily probiotic support, the daily fruit and vegetable blend. And then if you need the immunity protocol, which most people do, vitamin D, vitamin C, and zinc, then we use those during pregnancy as well. And typically by the month 7 or so, you often need to add supplemental iron. So that's exactly what I did with my wife. That is exactly what we'd recommend in our practice. And hopefully that was helpful. You talked about airplanes. Airplanes, there is radiation. There's no doubt about that. But I don't necessarily know that I would say you can't fly on an airplane. Obviously, you're not going to go through the airplane scanner. You're going to opt out. And I wouldn't make it a habit of traveling a lot on an airplane, but I don't necessarily see that as something that you absolutely must stop. So everything else, completely agree. You're doing amazing. Keep up the great work, Jacqueline. Ricardo's up next. Hi, Stephen Cabral. I'm on my recent blood test with my GP over the last few years. I have had low white blood cells, neutrophils. My doctor has no idea why this is caused, but said it is best we just monitor it. Do you have any suggestion as to how I can raise my levels and become healthy again? Thanks so much. Yeah, happy to help, Ricardo. So from a functional medicine perspective, whenever we see low neutrophils, myself as a practitioner, I'm right away going to your red blood cell status. So I know neutrophils are white blood cells, but it can be indicative of some type of anemia, or it can be indicative of a viral-based infection. Now, let's start with the latter. Again, I'm not giving you a medical diagnosis, just have to know that. Just helping someone out as if I was reading the lab for my own labs, right? That's what I'm doing. So chronic viral infection, what could it be? Could be Epstein-Barr virus. Could be you're dealing with some type of herpes virus flare-up. So it's at least something to look at. Is there a viral infection you're dealing with? Okay. The next part about anemia, well, if your MCV is off, MCHC, so all of these different markers you can look at, or it could be low B12, could be low copper, low iron. So what I'm doing is I'm running a full CBC, complete blood count. I'm running the full blood work, of course. I'm running TIBC and transferritin at a minimum for my iron saturation. And I'm running methylcobalamin for B12. And then I'm running copper as well. Now, most of the time, we're doing pretty much the copper, we're doing the copper and the B12 through what's called the starter kit. Actually being renamed the vitamin tox test that can be done right at home. And that will give you a lot more information as well. So you can find that at stephencabral.com/shop and then just type in starter kit or vitamin tox test or right away. This will be the forwarding link at stephencabral.com/starter-kit if you want to find it there as well. Hopefully that's helpful, Ricardo. All right. Karen's up next. Hi there, Dr. Cabral and team. So grateful for all you guys are doing. Thanks so much, Karen. I recently listened to a podcast from someone who seems very knowledgeable about gut health, says that ox bile shouldn't be taken with meals because it decreases stomach acid. Could you weigh in on this? Happy to. Well, I agree with this person. We've talked about it here in the podcast. Just remember, all of these can be searched by going to stephencabral.com/podcasts. This is episode 3025. So you get 3,000 previous shows that you can search, and you can just type in ox bile, and you'll actually find all my different words. I can't say wisdom all the time, but words on ox bile. So the way that we use ox bile in our practice, because remember bile, so you just think about how would the body use this, right? So acid, hydrochloric acid, is low pH, somewhere around a 2, 3 or so for a human. Ox bile, well, an 8+ for pH, right? So they don't mix well together necessarily in the stomach, which is why bile is produced essentially in the liver, gallbladder-based area, along with higher pH enzymatic pancreatic enzymes. And what they do is once the food starts to move out of the stomach into the duodenum, which is the first part of the small intestine, then the higher pH, like the bile, mixes there. And then what happens is the low pH mixes with the high pH, and it causes essentially an eruption, a breaking down, emulsification of fats and other foods. So this is how we take ox bile. First thing in the morning before food and or before bed. So then it's away from meals and it's already in the gut. So that's how we use it. And that's why we don't combine them. Hopefully that's helpful. All right, we've got one more question today. It's from Karen. I believe it's the same Karen. No problem writing in twice. Just wanted to see if you had any thoughts on the pros and cons of calcifediol versus cholecalciferol, which are the two versions of vitamin D supplements. All right. I don't know if I get the pronunciation right of either, but yeah, I'm happy to help with this. So the first one, calcifediol, is more of the pharmaceutical brand. It has a shorter half-life. It is not what's produced by the body when you get sunlight on the skin, and therefore not as natural in my opinion. We use the Cholecalciferol, that's calciferol. I love trying to pronounce these words. I know how the word is pronounced. You ever get that in your head and you can't say it? Well, anyway, this is the vitamin D3 that we use. So the vitamin D3 that we use is actually vitamin D3 as it would be produced when the sun hits your skin. This is a more natural form that then gets converted in the liver or other cells into usable vitamin D in the body. So yes, we use the vitamin D3 version. You will see that name when you go to, if you go to stephencabral.com/shop and you look up our liquid vitamin D or any of our vitamin Ds or any of the vitamin Ds in any of our products, it's always the form that is bioidentical to the body. So hopefully that's helpful, Karen. Thank you, everybody, for writing in here today. Appreciate all the questions. Love to always see these come in from the community. And I'll be back tomorrow answering more of our Cabral House Calls. Take care. Thanks so much for tuning into today's show. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I want to make sure that you're getting our daily content, not missing out on anything functional medicine, wellness, weight gain, weight loss, anti-aging, living longer, stronger, and all of the most cutting-edge research. And if there's any topics you want to hear, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Take care.